Hello, students. That last lecture got abruptly stopped because of internet issue. So we will start again with this example. On the scale of 1 to 5, where 1 means strongly disagree and 5 means strongly agree. So the question is, health center in Pune you can take provides you the necessary services. So if you are getting good services, you will say strongly agree. If you are getting service sometimes, you're not getting sometimes, you will say agree. If you don't know, you never visited to that health center, you will say you are uncertain. Then if you are not getting good service, sometimes you are getting but not up to your satisfaction level, you will say disagree. And if you never got good service, you will strongly disagree this. So here the rating pattern you are giving, that is 1 2 3 4 5, right? So this question needs that the respondent should respond uh, as or give its response in rating pattern. Now the next is checklist. So here the question is asked in such a way that in that one particular chart or one particular question, there are many points and you are going to get the data collected for all of them in one particular same question or in particular format, right? So here is the example that here are some characteristics of birth control devices that are of varying importance to different people, right? So how important are the following in choosing a birth control method? So these are of very great importance, of great importance, of some importance, no importance. And in that characteristics of birth control devices, so many factors are there: comfort, cost, effectiveness, then safety to partner. All these are just so in one particular of answer for one particular question with its sub questions, you are going to get the answer in one particular format only. So that is called as checklist. Then the third one is interview. So in this involves either structure or sorry. This involves either structure or unstructured verbal communication. Structured in a sense that what you are going to ask the questions, those are already defined and you have to ask them those questions only. Related to that question, you cannot ask, but that you can ask in unstructured interviews. Now you all know what interview means. You have to ask the question face to face and write down their responses there itself. So, as I said, there are two types in unstructured interviews and more conversational unstructured interviews, because suppose I have asked one question related to that sub question also, I'm allowed to ask, right? So sometimes it may go for hours because the respondent may give you much more long answers related to whatever questions you are asking. Then it is conducted in a usual situation. Normally it can be conducted, and this allows researchers flexibility in asking the questions related to the subject. So whatever research problem I'm having, I can having flexibility, I can ask this kind of question also, this kind of question also related to this. I can go in more deep because that flexibility researcher has. In structured interviews, generally it operates within formal written instrument record. So you already have a written instrument, in the sense, suppose you have written questions as per the interview schedule, and accordingly you have to ask only those questions. You cannot go deep into a sub questions or related questions. So researchers design questions to be asked. So researcher is going to actually design all these questions prior to the interview, and the questions are to be asked orally in either face to face or telephone format. So in both of them, the telephone format is available. So either you can take the interview face to face or on telephone. Now, what are the advantages of interview? Data from the interview are usable. So whatever data you are going to get collected, first-hand data, you can use it well. Depth of the response can be assured. You are seeing that how the respondent is giving the response, how much with the, you can say that its involvement in giving the answers, you can judge it very well that how much that respondent is involved, and you can assure it accordingly that his response is the correct response or good response, you can take it. So in an exploratory study, the interview techniques provide basis for the formulation of questionnaire. So mostly the questionnaire format can be taken with the interview techniques only. Then clarification is possible, as you want to, suppose I said, I asked the question that for which the answer is in yes or no is given by the respondent. Then in structured one, I will not be able to ask why you are saying yes or why you are saying no, but in unstructured, I can ask that what is your clarification, why you are saying yes for this particular question. Then no items are overlooked, nothing, no items are overlooked. Then higher proportion of responses is obtained. You can get the higher proportions of the responses, and greater amount of flexibility is allowed. So generally unstructured are more important interviews which can give you more data. What are the disadvantages of interview? Time element, because it may take lot of time to take each and every samples interview or respondents interview. Then biases may result, because she or he is my friend or family member, I will ask the question in a different way. The way I want the answer from them, I will ask them the question in that way. That bias may result, and it may be costly. Then the fourth one is observation. The fourth instrument is the observation, most commonly used in qualitative research. So there are mostly in science, you need to do the experiment and observe the things. So those are, or even in psychology, you need to observe the nature of that particular psycho person, and accordingly make some points and accordingly collect the data. So what are types of observation? Unstructured observation. So it is a method of collecting research data that has both opponents and proponents, right? And in structured observation, preparation of record keeping forms such as category system, checklist, ratings, you can observe, and accordingly you can categorize it with this checklist or rating scales. Researcher typically has some prior knowledge about the behavior or event of interest. So obviously, in structure, you know what is your research problem and some prior knowledge regarding that particular sample, regarding that particular person you already have. Then what are the observation advantages of the observation? Produces large quantities of the data, relative case. Then all data obtained from observations are usable. It is always a good data. Then relatively inexpensive. All subjects are potential respondents, right? Subjects are usually available. The observation technique can be stopped or begin at any time, because it's your choice. You can start or end at any time as per requirement of your research. Observation may be recorded at the time they occur, eliminating bias because of recall. Then what are the disadvantages of observation? Accurate prediction of a situation or event may be observed is unlikely, right? Then interviewing selected subjects may provide more information, because just by observation you may not get more information, but if you take the interview, then you may get more information economically. Then waiting for a spontaneous occurrence of the situation, you need to wait for many times, because observation takes time. You need to see, you need to wait, right? The presence of an observer gives the subject a quality normally absent. Then observed events are subjected to biases. I'm observing it because I like this particular thing, so I'm observing only that. I don't like this, I'm not observing it. That biasness can be there. Then extensive training is needed. So whenever you're doing observation, extensive training is needed, because what to observe, which small observations are very important, how to note it down, that all actually requires the training, because that small observation may create a big data. Now the next is records. The records refers to all numbers and statistics that institution, organization, people keep. So every organization or every company always has a records. What record means? It's already the data which they have created and kept it aside, because that is the record for that particular organization. Then what sources are there? Census data means what are the data sources? Now I'm doing research on suppose trading, then I need this census data. Then educational record, if I'm doing some research on education, then educational records of all the school colleges I may need. Hospital or clinic record, if I'm doing research on some health related topic, then I need all these records. Then what are the advantages of the record? Records are unbiased because they are taken at the time when the particular thing is happening and recorded as it is. So there is very less chance of biasness. Then records often cover a long period of time. So you are not taking record of just yesterday. You are going to take the record of years. So you can get, it can get covered in long period of time. It is inexpensive. You have to just request to those educators or educating institutes or hospitals or census data you can get available on net. So that you have to just request and you will get. And many a times it is free, because all these websites always kept the records and those are open to everyone. So few records are completely open, so accordingly you can just take it directly from internet, and because of that it is inexpensive. Then disadvantage of the records, all the researchers can have is what is there. I mean, all the researchers can have the record. So if the record is incomplete, then there is no way it can be completed, because record is you're using some another person's data. And if there is lagging or some information is missing in that data, you can't do anything, because it is not in your hand. You are just accessing another person's data or another institute's data. No one can be sure of the conditions under which the record was collected. Now, it is very important that you are referring that data right, but when that data is collected, under which situation that data is collected, whether that data is recorded properly or not, that you cannot assure, because you don't know. You are just assessing whatever that institution has already recorded, right? Then there is no assurance of the accuracy of the record, because you don't know how they have recorded and how accurately, how perfectly they tried to keep the record. So you cannot assure any accuracy of the records. Then sixth is experimental approach. Now here you need to do the experiment and then you have to prove, right? So this is the most powerful design of testing a hypothesis. So whenever you need to test the hypothesis, you need to do the experiments, and by taking different variable, and you have to find it out the relationship between the variables, right? And relationship between the variables can be proved only by the experiments. So researcher controls the independent variable and watches the effect of dependent variable. So independent variable will always remain as it is, and the dependent variable or effect of independent variable on the dependent variable is generally observed. So there are two groups of experimental approach. One is treatment or experimental group and control group. We have seen lot many examples of this kind of approach previously. Now, what are the advantages of experimental approach? It is difficult to minimize all the variables, in which the control and experimental groups might differ. So, whatever variables you have decided, at least 2 or 3 variables you must take. You cannot minimize it for both control and experimental group. Casual relationship are difficult, if not possible to establish. Then the time element may confound, because the experiment needs to get done and then you are going to get the results. So time may require a lot. Then in an experimental laboratory, setting it may be difficult because there are a few experiments which you cannot set very easily into your laboratory. So especially if you are not aware with that particular experiment, then it is very difficult that you need to collect all the data previously. You have to find out those chemicals are available or not. In case of science, I'm telling, those instruments are available in your lab. If not available, where they are available, can you go and do the experiment there? So all this setting is required. So then the next is survey approach. So this is non-experimental type, where researcher can investigate a community or group of people. So you can take a group of people or you can take a particular community and survey. Then another name of this same survey approach is formulative or exploratory research. Then what are the advantages of survey? You all know what is survey is. Survey means you have to just find it out. It is like questionnaire you are giving and asking the question. Survey means you're just trying to find out the answers for whatever questions you have. So advantages of the survey approach can provide information about the possibilities of undertaking different types of research method, right? Then provide data about the present. The survey will give you, survey means you will try to find out whatever all possible findings. Suppose a medical survey, or you want to do all laboratory surveys, so you have to visit different laboratories, ask different questions. If they have some record, check those records and prepare the data, right? Which that data will tell you all the present situation or what difficulties they are facing in all the laboratories, right? Then has a high degree of representativeness because it is representing the, for example, in our case, that is laboratories, medical health laboratories. So it is going to represent that what is the situation, what is the scenario, what are the problems, what are the benefits which are there in that particular laboratories. Each to get respondent and information often do not express their true reactions to the question. Now, disadvantages of survey approach. Easy to get respondents, sorry, not easy to get respondents, in the sense you can get the respondent very well for the survey. Even you can see many a times journalists, they do the survey, they just go and randomly ask the questions to the people, whatever question they have, and accordingly take their responses, right? So it's more easy to get the respondents, and information often do not express their true reaction, but whatever those people are telling, that might not be their true expression. That can be the actually problem. Then disadvantages of this survey is a low degree of control over extraneous variable. Whatever extraneous variable is there, you cannot control anything in survey approach. We now you know very well what is extraneous variable. Then verbal behavior is quite unreliable, and that people, so whatever verbally people are telling, you cannot just rely on that, right? So that is actually the disadvantage. It also goes here in 7th. Then the measurement of the variables. So all these variables you can measure. So measurement is again the process by which the researcher can assign specific number to the collected data. So whatever data I have collected, I can measure that data. Now how I can measure that data? One, with nominal level. So it is called as the lowest level. Now in this level, which includes assignment of numbers simply to classify characteristics into categories. So you are just assigning a code or label to a particular data. That is what is the nominal level. So for example, in relation to marital status, now marital status, if I am trying to find out with for a particular population, then 0 might represent single, it is not married, and 1 is married, right? So nominal level varies, include variables, may include sex, then marital status and health status. Now another level, that is ordinal level. This is second lowest level. We are saying lowest, we are going from lowest to highest level. So this is the second lowest level. This permits the sorting of objects on the basis of their standing on attribute relative to each other. So here, whatever data you have collected, you can sort it on the basis of attribute relative to each other, right? Now the data can categorized or ranked, right? Ordered from most to least. So here you can do most to least organization or categorization of the data. Now, or it is you, the example is that is representation of the rank order, that is first, second, third, the way you can organize the data. Then level of the measurement, next level, that is interval level. This is second highest level. So in this, this data can or this can occur when the researcher can specify both rank ordering of the object attribute and distance between those objectives. So here one more measurement is added, right? That one is the rank, it is also here in the ordinal level, but another is distance which got added. So do not have an absolute or rational 0 point. Definitely कधीच 0 याचं उत्तर येणार नाही. And use mode, median, mean. So you can use these statistical techniques to get the correct answer. So example is Fahrenheit, degree centigrade. These are the measurements or anxiety levels which you can measure on Likert scale. Now the level of measurement, the ratio level. Now the ratio level has a rational and meaningful 0. Now you can see that, or you can say that the ratio level is the highest of the 4 hierarchical level of the measurement. The level or the scales of measurement indicate high precisely data is recorded in this particular level, ratio level. The higher the level, the more complex measurement is always. So it is the ratio level which is the most complex. So here it is the example. You can see all four measurements are there. Social scale. This is the scale where nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio is there. And this is the example. Now, in case of nominal, numbers are assigned to the runners. Now, this is running competition is there and numbers are assigned 7, 8, 9, 3, 1, 2, 4, whatever. And this is the finish line where 7, 8, and 3 has reached, right? So this will be the nominal scale. Now in ordinal scale, ranking will be given as we have seen. So 7th is the third rank, 8th is the second rank, and third one is actually the first rank. So in between them also ranking should be there, that who has finished the first, who has actually completed the race successfully, right? Who has reached first, who reached second, who reached third to the finish line. Then the interval, where the performance rating on the scale 0 to 10, who performed well. Definitely the one who came first performed well. So it is having more points, 9.6. The second is having less than it, and the third one is having less than second. So it is on the scale 0 to 10. So highest is third one because it has performed the best. Third one in the sense, third number in the sense, it is actually the first place. Then ratio. Now here also what we have seen, just the performance. Everywhere we are just looking for one level only. Here we are seeing which numbers reached. In second, we are seeing the rank. In third, we are seeing the performance. But in ratio, we are taking how much time also they have finished, how much distance they have finished within how much time. So the ratio is going to give, this is the 13.4, which is the less time, then 14.1, and then 15.2. So this is the comparison between the primary scales of all the measurement. Then what is the reliability and validity of measurement? Now, why we have to use these measurement scales? They are reliable. Why? Because it means the degree of consistency. Reliability means what? It should give consistency and accuracy with which whatever instrument you are using for the measurement of variable. And if whatever measurement you are getting is getting in a correct way, it means the particular measurement is reliable. Validity, so in that it refers to the extent to which an instrument measure what is designed to measure. So whatever instrument is prepared, is it really measuring the same which you have really designed it for to measure? If this is happening, then it is the good, or you can say that the instrument is valid. Then testing validity of data collection. So you develop the instrument, you have collected the data, then you have used the measurements. Now you want to validate that whatever data you have collected. So there are three categories of testing the validity of the data. One is face validity, another is contained validity, and third is pragmatic validity. So in face validity, you can see most basic level it is, that is validity of the observer, you can say. So this is self-evident measures and pragmatic measures. So in self-evident, there are one category, that is face validity. So what self-evident measures means, refers to the fact that instrument appears what it is supposed to measure, right? So the face validity, in which the validity of the observer can be some internet issues are there. Anyway, now everything is fine. So the face validity, most basic level, when little or nothing is known about the variable being measured. So the researcher typically verifies face validity by asking experts to evaluate the instrument intent. So here you need the experts to evaluate your instrument intent. In second, how you can validate the data, that content validity. So whatever content are there, again you also here also you need to take the expert opinion. So it relies on the assurance that you can demonstrate an adequate coverage of the known field. So you are thinking that you have covered everything, but here also again it needs to get verified with the literature review as well as with the expert opinion. And then third is pragmatic measures. The procedure spatially or essentially tests the practical value of a particular research instrument tool. So this attempt to answer the question, that is, does it work? So here the test can be the going to see the practical value. So does it work? It means concurrent validity, predictive validity, and construct validity. Now, concurrent validity means it refers to the extent to which the instrument can accurately identify. So if you want to find out does your instrument is working well,